Okay, but what would you do if we just skipped the banter section of the stream and just jumped into the game? What if we just started playing? I have no news. I have nothing to discuss. I'm just here for some dang Dark Souls. I will ask how everyone's doing, though. I'll be nice and ask how it's going. No, for real. No talk, only fight. I thought I had already launched the game, but I hadn't. But it's here now, and it's very bright. And, one of these days, there it goes. One of these days it'll think about, you know, getting captured. I gotta move things around. Devo, I need you to not start crying. Hey, bud. It's totally cool, Sarah. I get it. I get it. Take however long you need. I appreciate you being here and lurking. But, yeah. Do what you gotta do. Give me just a second to make sure that I have everything set up, and I do. Oh, I'm gonna. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be really great. And we're all gonna appreciate it, and we're all gonna love it, and it's gonna be fantastic. Also, gripping and ripping. Also, grip and rip. I don't like the noises that bad bird is making over there. And that's fine. But, glad that you're doing alright, Fruity. Sarah, I hope you're taking care. I mean, absolutely. It's a valid strategy. Trying to get the Taurus demon to fall off the edge. I forgot the Crystal Boy was there. Here I was so fixated on Skeletor that I just forgot that this guy was here, but it's okay. Look at this. Look at this. We're already doing so much better than we did yesterday. And I'm gonna say it's because of yesterday that we're doing pretty alright. 'Cause, like, we had some practice. We got a couple of practice runs in there, right? Oh, I don't like that. That doesn't stagger him at all. Oh. I also don't appreciate having a weapon that doesn't really have any reach. That's not a fun thing for me. Oh, fuck. It's fine. It's fine. No, don't punch me. It's not great doing this in such a narrow spot, but you know what? Oh my goodness. Ah. Sir! It's fine. He's dead now. The camera's doing a lot of weird things. Skeletor makes a lot of really bad noises. I also like how I got more souls from him, than I did from the boss. The camera doing the things it was doing, or me getting ready to die? I should probably heal up before he gets over here. Can you lock on? Hey. Hey, game. Have you considered actually locking on? Because I would love that. Perfect. Look, I'm not concerned. At all. Let's get our little soul buddy down here. Come on, friend. Plop. Come on. Come on. Who's a weird little soul man? You are. My goodness. I don't think so. We're not gonna do that. Okay, this time, let's not get got by the monkey boys? Is that who's in there? I think that's who's in there. Got a crystal man and a monkey boy and one other bad thing. I don't remember what else was in there. But this is where we did it bad last time. Only because I got caught on a wall, I think? I don't remember what happened yesterday. I don't remember. But that's okay. Oh, it's just in there. Hey. Hey. Pay attention to me. Keep backstabbing every chance we get. We're just gonna do a good old backstab. Got more twin humanities. I love how many of those that are getting dropped. A lightning spear. Is that any good? Mayhaps. What's in there? Oh, right. It's what's supposed to be in there. Oh, sir. Oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. Here's something else in here, and I think it might be what's upstairs. It's a little soul buddy. Our little humanity friend. Not Ornstein. Not this. Not this! I need you to move! A nutsack is coming for me. Not this! Oh, fuck. Please. No! What is this? Okay, so going inside is a bad idea. Yeah! There's too many lads. I, don't appreciate the fact that I pulled literally everything in the building. But hey, you know, it's fine. Come here. Crystal Man, come on! I do like poking. Doesn't do quite as much damage as the hammer, however, it is a little faster. And I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of the speed. Oh. Yikes. Yikes! No, that's bad. That's bad. Did it bad. I should use the hammer on him. No, lightning, very good. I like the lightning. Skeletor is bad. If I equip the hammer here but don't have it out, it still counts towards my weight, right? Yeah, it do. Bad weight. Okay, let's get rid of that for right now. I'll use the hammer on these guys, because we're pretty good at that. However, Pokey Stick was very, very good inside, right? Right? We liked using we liked using the spear indoors. I could take the pants off. I don't know if they weigh enough. Or, I don't know if they weigh the same. Well, yeah, not Butthole Man. Not the Butthole Man. But look, if it means I can have both my weapons equipped, that would be great. They weigh 2.8. Oop. And the spear is 3.5. Oh! Okay, we're good. I just will do everything in my power not to have the camera go up. Sir. Oh. My dude. Hey. Have you considered not doing a murder on me? Preferably, if you could just not do that thing that you're doing, I would love that. Ooh. Gotta sit up. I'm gonna do everything I can to fight the camera, alright? I mean, we're already constantly fighting it anyway. It is nice that just from this angle, we do the robe, the cape of the robe does a very good job of covering our shame. However, the loincloth we're wearing doesn't do a fantastic job of covering all of our bits. Are you gonna come here or not? No. Come on. Can you not get me stuck here in the corner? Preferably. Love that. If we didn't do this nonsense here in the corner. Yeah. Okay. Skeletor. Don't like you. I don't like you. My dude, we were doing so well. You know, oh, that's my face. We were doing pretty all right. And now we're not. I got scared. I got scared by all the lads in the church. I was spooked. We made a mistake. Come on, Crystal Boy. Let's go. Crystal Man. I had pants, now I don't have pants. Maybe it's the pants. Maybe the... No, because everything was going fucky even when we had pants. Or, yeah. Yeah. A lot of really bad things. Couple of dogs, a nutsack boy, one of the giant mushroom lads. Yeah, like quite literally everything. It wasn't fantastic. My dude. You just gonna kick? No. No! You're a bad man, Skeletor. Hi, friends! Bueno, thank you for the lurk. Smiley, hello, how's it going? I need to dodge away from this man before it gets too bad. Oh, no. Please? Please. I need him to stop! Okay, we're good. Everything is fine. It's great. Anyway, hi! Welcome, friends! How's it going? How are you doing? We're doing some Dark Souls tonight, and it's not going fantastic. Skilling me on weak to lightning? I don't think so, but we can try next time. We can attempt next time. Might be. I mean, he is covered in metal. Did our little lawn friend show up? Come on, buddy. You idiots. Well, I guess the next time we come across a Skeletor, because we're gonna come across more of them, because this game seems to love giving me the Skeletors. Come on. Come on. Come on, little friend. Can't remember if I've asked or not, but how's everyone doing? How are things going? Come here! Little goober. Come on. There you go. Come on. He just wants to wibble around. That's fine. Will you let me come through, though? No. Okay. Alright. 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 Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. I see. Sure. That's fine. Come here, shield boy. Oh. You could not stab me. That would be appreciated. But hey. He was. He was definitely running Serpentine. And was like, you can't catch me. You can't get me. It's like, bud. I don't want to get you, but you're gonna make me get you. And it's fine. Silly crystal man. You silly crystal lad! Made a mistake! Okay. I was gonna keep taunting all of them. What if we can take care of this guy? He's not a problem. He's obnoxious. Not, well, not normally a problem. He doesn't like the lightning, though. That's great. Oh, that's very good for me. Alright. Alright. Okay. Alright and okay. Okay and alright. That got not centered. Somehow. But, it seems to function. You need to go get all of those things, bud. Why aren't you? You gotta do it. Also, game trying to get us to look at Waluigi butthole. Not today, game! I do need to turn the captions back on. I have forgotten to do that. They are back on now. They are up and running. The game seems to be functioning. Everything is solid and okay. Great. Well, we're back. It's all fine and dandy. There are no problems anymore. We got it handled. We're fine. Everything's fine. Everything's okay, fine. That's a skeleton man. That's a skeleton man. Not you. Two, skeleton man. Skeleton! Crab. Weak to lightning. There's so many crab men in this game. This game loves crabs. It's fine. I'm not even worried. Why would I be worried? Bone Man is trying to come up here. Please, please. Bone wheel, please, bone wheel. Oh. Okay, so the bone wheel and the lizard came from outside. That's where those enemies came from. The dog, the mushroom, the crystal man, all the other bads came from up top. Not you. Lizard does not like lightning. I love how much all of these creatures hate lightning. It makes me very happy. That doesn't make me happy, though. Can we... It's bonfire time. It's time to go find a bonfire. I am at Andre. We gotta go say hi to our blacksmith friend. Maybe he can make our weapons much better now. Cause look, we got so many things of Titanite that we should be able to, like, you know, do some good stuff with Andre. It is not an immortal skeleton, thank God. I also was concerned that it would come back. Hey, buddy.
Well, you must be a new arrival. I'm Andre of Astoria. If you require smithing, then speak to me.
Not modify. Reinforce? I do like these weapons, and so it seems like it's probably a good idea to level them up a little bit. We do need some more Titanite chunk, but that's okay. If Yeah, no, Lightning Spear, very good. Lightning Spear, very, very good. This isn't gonna increase how fast I regain stamina, right? It just increases the blockage. Yeah, it worked. I'm still upset that I've never had this occur and never have had to do this before and that it made me interrupt stream, but it works. And that's all that matters, honestly. Elizabeth's mushroom! I love how he's selling dung pies. And humanity. Demon Titanite. Titanite chunk?
For the time lost.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, poop and gross resin. We're not a fan of that. I do like the Demon Titanite, though. He's got a Guardian Tail, a Black Knight Halberd, and a Wooden Shield. Lots of arrows. We've got Havel's leggings and the witch cloak, as well as the gold-hemmed black gloves, and the Leo ring. I love Havel's set in general. That and the oh god, the dragon tooth? Just dragging me out, my dude. Let's go. It absolutely 100% is busted, it's true. Okay, let's... Might as well, right? Right? Can't do it. Hurrah!
Most weapons and armor, but if you can have tonight, so
Okay.
don't get yourself.
Oh, I will. Don't worry. I am curious what his replaced our little... It's a worm! He's been replaced with a worm! Are you shitting me? Just get him! Just get him, buddy. He's not gonna get me. I got him. I got him! I do love the Titanite Demon. I don't want to be here yet, honestly. I really don't. But we can get here pretty easily, I guess. I say I don't want to be here, then immediately come in. Hey! Hey, you actually live here! Hey! You actually live here! That seems wrong! This is your home. That seems wrong. Yeah, I don't wanna...
I have faith in you.
Thanks. Nah, thank you, Sarah. We got this. It's just... I gotta keep reminding myself that nothing is as it should be. And so maybe this area is actually manageable right now. Or maybe it's not. I don't want to go down there just yet.
I have little faith in that character.
Hey Fruity, it's your favorite boy. Hey Fruity, it's your favorite boy. I have faith in Waluigi. Hey bud. Hey bud. Do you want to come here? Do you want to come here? He does not want to come here. No! I love his little noises. I can't reach him. He can't reach me and I can't reach him. This is a problem? There we go. I can reach him now. I just gotta get real far up in there. He is a good lad. We love him. Not gonna get gooped. I'm not gonna get gooped. Ah! Ah, he's precious. He's a precious boy. I mean, having that reach is real good. The issue that I was having with the hammer is I kept expecting it to have more reach than it actually had. I can hear him growling. It goes brrr. Um, I love the squiggly boys. Squiggly wiggly lads. Okay. If you could just stay over there. And not mind me. Please. Please. Log. 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 Okay. It's fine. We'll just go the long way. Got white titanite chunk. Okay. He didn't seem terribly keen on doing anything. That's cool. I don't want. I'm so scared. This has been a lot less daunting than it usually is, though. That's for sure. I mean, I definitely don't have the item that I need for here. Eh. I know there's a secret wall. I do remember that there's a secret wall here. Nope, nope. I remember. I remembered this after I started making my way around. I was like, oh right. Oh right. Look, I just got pro gamer skills. I don't need no illusory walls to, like, get me through here. Not the snake, and a bone wheel, and a goop, and an upside down goop. We can say no to them right now. We can say no to them right now. Yeah, I don't need that item anyway. As far as I know, that item's garbage. No. My guy. My man. I did see one of the big statues still here. That's not great. Yeah, that is one of the guys that actually lives here. I think it's the right statue man. I'm pretty sure it's the right statue man. This is where all the bad lizards live. Is it? Yeah, I was gonna say, isn't that Pinwheel? Like, that's a boss, right? Bad curse frog. I also hate everyone who spawns in the correct place. Okay, okay. Are they? They're just not... It seems like none of the enemies here want to kill me. Which is fine. It's another bone wheel. You were not there! And now you're all here! Please! Please! It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. They got me good. I can do that again. Yeah, they were all there. They were all like, hey, you thought you could get through here easily? Nah. I didn't rest at the other bonfire. I just lit it. I'm an idiot. Does the worm not come back? Aww. Ripworm. I mean, I guess that makes sense. The Titanite Demon also doesn't come back. But I was looking forward to seeing Worm every time. Okay, where is the Moss Man? Game crashed. Game said no. Game said, too much. No. No, Moss Man. Oh, what a fun time we're having. What a fun time this is. Mod, flawless. Absolutely flawless. No problems whatsoever. Yeah, I know that the game got closed out improperly last time. Wonder who did that game? Dang, wonder who managed to make that happen. Right? Am I right? Like, wow, what a wild thing. I've lost all those souls too. Fucking hell. Okay, they also don't like lightning. Lightning? Very good. I figured they would have been more susceptible to fire. Apparently not. I love you, buddy. Okay, now everything's aggressive. Now they're like, no, I think we're gonna do a murder. Which is fine. You know who's super weak to fire? Gwen. Yeah, it's Gwen. Gwen says, no, don't burn! No, burn! Just like that. Big boy Gwen! Oh no! You burned me with fire! My one weakness! Excuse me? He thinks that if he names himself after his weakness, no one will guess. He's not entirely wrong, either. I am going to... I don't need to be as sparingly or as sparse with these as I normally would be. Just because we keep getting them and I know where I can farm them now, right? We do meet a lot of crabs. We meet a dang ton of crabs. And it does appear that they have, like, I don't know that it's 100%, but an extremely high rate of dropping twin humanities. Specifically twin humanities. So I'm gonna go ahead and hollow, or like reverse hollowing and like kindle up not every bonfire, but a lot of them. Because we might as well, right? Yeah, no, I'm gonna be careful about the butthole. I will be careful about the butthole. Ooh, I do want that item, though. No, game, I know. Have you checked your butthole? Skeet up, butthole. I like upside down goop. I got Smo's helmet. Butthole. It's very good. Very good. And I think Solar Shield, yeah. Yeah? Nice. Nice. I'm a fan. I like it. I'm here for it. Was there... There was a long lad. A monkey man who came over here. Wasn't there? Oh, it doesn't matter. Okay. There are like 4 enemies over here. That just seemed to... Oh. Okay. Get out of here, buddy. Get out of here, buddy. I can hear, like, snoring. And I don't like it. Oh, no. Hold on. Okay. Oh.
Potion of no ambush?
Here's hoping. Chug that potion. No ambush. It's not gonna happen. They aren't here. They don't show up until the last second. Are they in the trees? Hello? Devo? What if I ambush the ambush? You know? I can handle all these! I cannot handle Curse Frog! No! Stop! No! Stop! No! Stop! No! Stop! Sirs! No! Get out of here, bad frog! Fucking shit! Oh, not the curse frogs. Curse frogs are bad? Don't like them. Curse is my least favorite, arguably the worst status effect that you can take in this entire game. It's just a bunch of garbage. And we don't want it, but now we did a murder. Okay. I have no idea what I got from over here. There you are. Divine blessing! Take your time, friend. We'll be here when you get back. Yeah, no, I would argue that it is the worst status effect in any game ever. 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 I don't like it. I'm not a fan. Where am I? Oh! Crystal Boy, no! Oh, he's almost dead. I feel very good being able to kill a lot of these enemies right now, and I know it's because I have pretty decent equipment. However, no, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that, sir. No. I didn't see what I got because I panicked. Can I make this jump? Do you think I can make that jump? I could make that jump. I'm not gonna try. I don't wanna risk ruining everything. But, we're gonna continue on. Hi, bud. This face right here was me earlier when I was working on that test. Just confused, bug-eyed, a little high-strung. Oh boy, okay, well, we're gonna get a little cheek in camera because I need to be able to see what's ahead of me, but we're not gonna see a butthole. I promise. What is over there? Look. There's a leech. Leech, not even a concern. I see you. I do see you up there. You don't hide as well as those stupid tree lizards do. You still got me, though. I don't think there was any way for me to be able to, like, get around not getting got. I think I had to. I think I had to get got. It's fine. It's fine that he hopped on me, because I already called him out. Yeah, it did, like, no damage. It was fine. We'll accept it, again, because I saw him and I told him that he did it bad. Uh-oh. No, no, no. Hey, buddy. Okay. More twin humanities. I love it. I'm here for it. I love that drop. Come here, buddy. These guys and the big squids. Big wibbly squibbly boys. They're all where Bed of Chaos is? Is it Nest of Chaos? Bed of Chaos. Lost Easlith. Yeah, okay. Cool. I sometimes I get locations and bosses from this game and the third one mixed up. So I always have to, like, double check and be like, am I thinking of the right game? Well, it's just because I'm bad at keeping track of things. There's a worm over there and a big boy. Is that a Black Knight? I think it is. Nope! I have activated them. I've done it bad! It's fine. My biggest issue with that area is just that I get lost. And then obviously the Bed of Chaos fight is just... It's not the worst fight. It's not a great fight, though. here. Nope, I'm not here. Nope, I'm not here. Ah! Not you. Fucking hate the archers. Okay. Knight with a gun. It's fine. We're just gonna tase this nutsack a little bit. Not even a problem. Okay. The fortunate thing about this area, lots of places to get cover. Stupid arrows can't get me. Ah! That could have gone so bad! Okay. Yeah, Ray would be off. That is my least favorite location, honestly. Honestly. That area is gonna, well, I can't say that area is gonna be super easy to get through, because it may not. But there, oh, no, actually stopping and thinking about it, there are plenty of really bad enemies. That area, that whole area. No, no, no. Until I, like, fall off the ledge because I'm trying to dodge the worm. I mean, we honestly lucked out with that Titanite demon getting turned into a worm. You can't hear me. I'm not here. Oh my god! Okay, yeah, that was a bad idea. Noted. Won't try that again. It is not the correct statue, man. It's not. Very much not. I need those souls. Because there were, I think, at minimum, 10,000 souls. Do you think I could run and grab it and then come back? Like, quite literally, 1 HP. I thought I was done for. I thought I was done for. I didn't update it with that last death, though. Holy shit. Okay. Now that I am, sufficiently awestruck. Now let's continue to increase endurance and vitality. Holy shit. That was very good. That was exceedingly good. Hold on a second. Okay. Fuck, where else do I go from here, though? I know there are, like, other places we can explore down here, and we might as well. I don't want Bone Wheel noticing me. He has noticed me. Lizard Man is trying to catch up. And I don't like that. That's where he lives now. He lives back there. Ellie, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Those little grumbles, though. How's it going? How are you doing? How are things? Are you gonna do your little fire thing, bud? Hey, friends. Hey, bud. No, you're just gonna. Okay, that's cool. He's just gonna sit there and be like, okay, who this? Bitch, Beatrice. No. Thanks, Beatrice, but no. Is this Moonlit Butterfly? Or what should be Moonlit Butterfly? I thought it was in a different... It 100% is. Is that a bell gargoyle? Aw, Sarah, thank you for the gift sub. That's very sweet of you. Yeah, but narrow. But narrow area? I don't think... That's not a butterfly. Fuck. What was that about it being fine? Hey, friends? He is fine, my god. Boy, oh boy. You got the good clip. The 1 HP clip. Thank you for that, Fruity. I appreciate it. But yeah, hi. Welcome, Ellie. I hope that you have fun here. We're obviously doing a Dark Souls randomizer. It's going. I am shocked at the progress that we made considering how stuck we were at the very beginning. But I think a lot of that was just the fact that we got a lot of weird equipment. And... Oh! Now the question that I have... Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud. And not finishing any of my thoughts at all. Is, if I were to bring in someone else, if I had somebody else come into play, right? They would also see that it's the bell gargoyle, right? Yeah, the first enemy that we came across was, I didn't think about it until just now when I was like, oh, but what if I did summon Beatrice in? I mean, they would have to, right? since it's like... Bud! Please. Buddy! Hey, friend? I don't need to be locked onto you. Like, at all. Not even concerned. We got it. Everything is fine. It's not a lot of souls. It's not a lot of souls. Did get some humanities. So that was cool. Some of the Anorlando gargoyles. Probs. I have a very hard time telling the difference between the two of them. Or between the different ones. But it's fine. He didn't have that much health. We got it. I mean, we also, you know, had a lightning weapon, so. I think it's the lightning really that gives it away, because it's only the bell gargoyles, like up in the tower and the, it's the undead bird. They only have fire, right? You're not Andre. Thanks for the axe, and the soul of a proud knight, and a large divine ember. Thanks, bud. Away we go! Slowly but surely. I don't want to run down these stairs. I'm scared that I'm gonna fall. I don't think I can, but I would find a way. And that would be just exceptionally unfortunate. You know? Right? We've made a lot of progress and it's kind of scary. I am spooked. We should probably finish the Undead Burg, though. Because we need to do that Bell Guardian fight. I don't want to be over here. Or Bell Gargoyle. Words. Words are hard? I'm trying to think and navigate and figure out where to go next. Because there's still that... It's not called a Hydra, I don't think, but there are a lot of dudes in the church. You are correct. There are very many dudes in the church that we could probably take care of. Bonewheel, no. Bonewheel, no. Fucking hell. Come here. Bud. It's fine. I guess I'm just trying to think if there's anything else that I need to do here, but I can't at the moment. Because that's where the... This is where you fight Sif? No. I forgot they were all here. Since we haven't been that way since the beginning. Yeah, I mean, it's a huge area, but that's like Sif fight. That's where... that is in the direction of where Sif is. More health. More that. Oh. This all sounds right to me. Again, not saying that that's not the only direction to get to Sif, but I'm just trying to, like, remember where everything is. It's been a couple years since I've played, like I said. And then the fact that all these enemies are here that shouldn't be here is throwing me off still. But agreed, that is in the direction of where Sif is located. Look at his little chicken legs. Right in the butt. Right in the bahookie. That wasn't his bahookie. That was, like, his brain face. But, you know. It's fine. I don't think I have enough to level up our spear again. Oh! Okay. And then we got a moss man? Yeah. Come here, moss man. Moss man! Not even concerned. Do I want to go down here just yet? Kinda. I mean, we're here. I mean, we're already here. Oh, camera, don't do that. Hello, Darkroot Basin. Nice to meet you. I'm Waluigi. No! No! Eek! It's fine. That's pretty alright! Ooh, I need chunks. I am not a fan of narrow pathways. But that's okay. Sorry, my hair keeps, like, tickling my chin. What? Ooh. Oh! Got a Titanite slab! It's not a bad haul! I did try to roll off that, but didn't work very well. Is this the... Yeah, that's the way that we come from. Just slowly but surely. Not you. Not you. Big boy. Hey. I love their little run. My little booty butt. Oh, bahookie. Don't do that. Look at the little crystal butt. Also, I got a dragon scale from him, which seems wrong. This is fine. So, those crystal guys usually scare the absolute shit out of me because I am ill-equipped to handle them at all. And it's just very... We got Havel's helm and a talisman. How much of Havel's set do we have? Because, like, I feel like we've gotten quite a bit of it. We do also have Smo's helm, as well as Ornstein's armor and pants. We've got his helm. No, we saw... Yeah, we can buy the legs. And we have the helmet. That's right. Also, can I look at what we've got here? That's better across the board. And only slightly heavier. Excuse me. What are... we're starting to get into the fat rolls again. Didn't like that. It does cover his butthole. It's true. I can take off the hammer. Yeah. I liked having it kind of like in case, but we're not really using it at this point. That's so much better. Okay. Ooh, never mind. I'm not gonna. We do have... You got some souls that we can use. Right? We want to use them at this point. There's no point not to use it, right? Yeah, I'm just gonna keep... I don't feel like this is practical for the most part. Just dumping all my stats, or all my levels into endurance, but until we cap at 40, I think I'm just gonna keep... I'm just gonna. You know? Our boy... I'm pretty happy with how this is going so far, though. Like, honestly, after those first couple of sit-downs that we did, and we struggled with Blob Boy so much, I was definitely starting to get real concerned about how the rest of the run was gonna go. I know where we are. There are usually big boys here, but we've got hollows instead. We just got basic mobs? I can't tell what that is. And that's a spider, or not a spider, a snake man. Oh, it's you! Get out of here! Fuck off! Toxic is different than poison, right? No! Okay. They can keep trying to come up here. That's fine. We did rest at the bonfire, so I am... That's the wrong button! Brain! Toxic is stronger than poison, but it's treated as the same thing. We got the soul of the moonlit butterfly. That's pretty cool. I just couldn't remember if I could use the same items to treat toxin as I could poison, but I can. Is that... That's neato. That's neato, right? That's pretty neato. No! No! Ah! This is not where you go! I forgot how horrific his sounds are. Can I get him to walk off the edge? Like, he's too big for that walkway, right? Oh my god, is he gonna fall? Neato. Honey. Baby. Honey. Darling. Sweetness. Listen. Listen. Listen! Neato, you might have been able to make it there, but you're not going to be able to make it around this corner. Honey! Neato, what are you doing? Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh god, you're right. Hold on. How do we rectify this? Oh! Before I do that, I'm gonna go use the restroom real fast. I've had a lot of soda. And I also need to just kind of sit here and think and think about what has happened. There's no... This is as safe a spot as any to pause. Nowhere is safe, but, you know, I am, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna take a quick restroom break. And then I'll party time for you, alright? Let me get that party time set up. That was probably one of the best things that I've ever seen. Watching Nito just throw himself off a cliff. I am stunned still. I wasn't sure that it was gonna work. That was very good. That was very good. Alright. Let's... Gotta switch things around real fast. He did it so bad! I don't get it. I don't get it. But he did it. And it was good. And y'all witnessed it. And it was good. And I hope the voice mod is on now. Set a timer. I'm ready to do the thing. Alright. Oh boy. Oh boy. I need to scoot back away from my desk. I need to think about what we have done. And there is... I can't get anywhere from going up here, can I? Because it's all locked at the moment. Wow, Nito did it bad. Dark Fog, Soul Spear. It's locked. Isn't this... This isn't under the Firelink Shrine, is it? Can hit another area. We can always go back and clip it. Where are we in the... We're an hour and 5 minutes in. So, give or take 5 minutes. Okay, this is under the Firelink Shrine. Cool, 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 cool. It's very hard to see up. If you want, you can post it in clips. Like, post the timestamp in clips, and I can always go back and take care of it. Oh. Well, I don't gotta be careful anymore. Check it out. Butthole covered. It's the bad area. It's the back door to the bad area. I forgot that we could... Oh, no. Don't mind me, sir. Carry on. Go about your business, sir. See? Look. I shall leave. I'm not here anymore. You cannot see me. I don't think this is working. Good soup. Hey, look, if I... Not the frog. Not the manta frog. Look, Big Man and I, we have an understanding. We've got an agreement with each other about how things work. And I wish more people could come to the understanding that we have. I am fine with the mosquitoes falling to their deaths. Hold on, I have to put my seat back just a little bit. It's another one of your boys! You can't see him because my face is covering it. But there's a squiggly wibbly boy. Oh! Oh! Game didn't want to deal with a squiggly wiggly. That's okay. It can't stop us. We will get Squiggly Wiggly to show up and be around. Bond knows this. I'm not entirely shocked. Oh. Because I do remember, at least with the... Hold on a second. Voice mod done. All done. I really hope it was actually running that entire time. No one said otherwise, but... Okay, good. I do remember the first time that I played through the remaster, I had a couple issues with Blighttown. So I was 100% expecting the mod to kind of freak out a little bit. I'm not terribly upset about it crashing, honestly. You shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here! This is wrong! Because all things considered, the fact that I've paired it with another mod that they weren't grouped together. They aren't meant to be together. And yet, here we are, using both mods at the same time. It's handled pretty dang well with us absolutely abusing it. So, not upset. In the slightest. Can you see Squiggly Wig? Oh god. Wiggly. Wiggly. There he is. There he is. Oh. Yeah, honestly, it's held up very well thus far. I feel like, I mean, my concern is that it's a bit of a further drop than I would like. There you are. And I don't know if you guys can see him because my face might be covering him. There's our little humanity buddy. Someone died. Ah! We would fall into his mouth, right? I've never drop attacked those boys, but I imagine that I would get chomped a little. Well, this is a problem. There's a bone tower. There are a couple of... Oh no, he's seen me. Oh no, he saw me. Everything could go wrong. Not you! And I've got a knight coming at me. Maybe he's given up. Maybe he's lost track of where I've gone. Yeah, he has. I don't want to... Oh! Oh, no! I hate it! I'm also not used to coming into Blighttown from this direction, so I have no idea where the bonfire is. Who's up there? Who's up there? Who's gonna fall on me? Who's gonna- oh no! Ah! Okay. This is fine. This way? No, not at all. Nito 100% does not respawn. Cause that's fuck, I don't remember what's usually there, but it's a one-time boss. Right, it's a dragon, thank you. I try to avoid that area, honestly. It was something big. Spooky. Right, I didn't grab the item that's over there. Oh, dude. Yeah! Something like that. Some big, terrible creature that I always struggle with. Always. The big lad. The biggest of lads. Okay. Yeah, Nito's not here anymore. See? All gone! I'll never have to fight him, ever. I did a couple of pokes, alright? I didn't just, you know, I didn't just let him throw himself off a cliff without getting a couple of shots in there myself. Oh, it was very good. Also, excuse me, my throat's gotten a little froggy all of a sudden. I feel... this feels wrong. We've done this so out of order. 'Cause, like... we haven't done the Bell Gargoyles. We haven't even done Capra Demon. And I'm saying, like, the generalized areas, not the actual bosses, obviously. We've done it so weird. It's just, it's all wrong. Okay, are we still cool? I like you. You're pretty neat. Don't make that noise at me. The pecs on that frog. Yeah, no. We like Buddy. Oh, look! There are my souls! Aww. I would like those back. That was a lot. Was it... Did the gargoyle fall? Because that was a ton of souls. Well, hey, if I ever need to farm at all, ever, I know where to go. I do have the mod set so that, like, things that can't fit in areas won't spawn there. However, I imagine that Blighttown registers as a very large area. Which is very funny to me. Just because of how narrow a lot of the planks are. You know? Did I update the death counter this last time? I think I did. I'm so bad at keeping track of that. We might forego using the death counter, honestly, at this point. It's a funny thing to do. Okay. I can, however, just for y'all, I can put up Bayoiji anyway. Because I know that's really what we wanted. You're allowed Bayoiji right now. I think it's okay. I think we deserve it. For all the nonsense that we have gone through, I think we deserve a good Bayoiji. You know? Just a second. There they are. Let's put Bayoiji up there. Make y'all a smidge smaller. Just a scooch. Just a well, no, I guess I don't need to really make y'all smaller, do I? No, I've made you too big. How's that? We happy with that? Don't fall off the ladder, buddy. Now you got a Bayoiji. Look, we've done a lot. We've accomplished so many things, and we've done so much with this dang game that I think it's okay. I'm trying to figure out how to drop on them without falling. Like that. Just like that. Okay, now to figure out how to get back to our stuff. Here it is. Oh god. I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm spurred. He missed me, and I'm not entirely sure how, but I'm not gonna argue with it. It's fine. There was a little mushroom lad over here. I don't know where he is, but I'm gonna grab this stuff. Something else died. Love that. There was a ladder over here, though, and I would like to climb it. Where the fuck is the bonfire? Squiggly lad. Squiggly wiggly boy. Squiggly squiggle wiggles. Wiggle squiggles. What will it do with the dudes hiding in the jars? I forgot about them! It's not gonna do well, though. Like, we know that, right? Like, it's not gonna handle it well. At all. True. But it didn't do it well. Not the frogs! Not the frogs! Okay. It's fine. I'm not worried in the slightest. Okay, maybe I'm a little concerned. That's too far to fall. What do we got? I see a crystal boy down there. Please, game. Cool. Fantastic. Love that. Here for it. It wouldn't let me get up over that plank at first. But it's okay. We're doing it. We're making it happen. Ooh, I wonder who's gonna replace Quaylog. I know I've said it before, but she is my all-time favorite boss. Love her. Yeah, no, he needed a minute to think about it, which is fair. We're very high up. There's a lot happening. It's scary. It's a little spooky, and, like, it's okay. Take your time, buddy. I can get down this way, can't I? Okay, right. Fuck. Speaking of Quaylog, no! Yo, bud. Hey, friend. Hey, friend, I'm gonna need you to not because I don't want to wake up our queen. Oh, hey, it's Bird Friend. I mean, she's 100% allowed to be here. I'm not saying she's not allowed to be here. What I am saying is I'm not prepared to fight her. I'm not ready to fight her. No, stop. Fuck. No! Please! Always the clams. He can't fit in here, can he? Oh god. Oh god. That was almost bad. Why are you using what? No! No! They got me. They got me good. Worms are the most difficult. This is why I need the hammer. This is why we need the hammer. So I can crush all of the worms. Most difficult enemy ever. Hands down. Worms. Fucking maggots, yo. I'm also thinking about it, and I think Quelaag is whatever creature she has replaced. I believe is one that respawns, which could be a problem. Could very well be an issue. Game heard me and was like, yo, this bitch, she loves Quelaag. You know what we'll do? Infinite Quelaags. No! Worms? It's because their hitbox is so low, and I'm so bad at actually, like, getting it, and then they attack so quick! They're so fast! And once they start attacking you, it's over. That's it. You're done for. You're donezo. But it would be the game's smallest, most unassuming creature that brings me and our powerful Waluigi to an end. It's just really unfortunate that I don't have a bonfire closer, you know? It's just really a shame. Because there isn't one... Well, No, I think the bonfire for Quelaag is past her? I cannot open Firelink from this side, it is locked. Unfortunately, I tried. There's one in the swamp. One on a big stone bridge in Blighttown. Yeah, like I remember, I know that there are a couple around. The issue is I can't find them. I can't find the stone bridge one. I feel like I have to explore around the bridges a little too much, you know? There is one somewhere in the swamp. And but I think it's past, like, when we saw Quelaag, from where we were, I think it was past her and, like, to the left. No, I'm agreeing with you that it's, like, on, like, the left-hand wall, but I think I would have to walk past Quelaag for that. It might be worth it, though. And I want to get my souls before I try that, you know? I do have... I only have the one moss clump. However, I'm gonna equip it anyway so that we can run... If I don't attack Pinwheel... Because I think that was the actual Pinwheel. I do believe that was the one, the many, Pinwheel. If I don't set him off, or even if I do, I think I can grab my souls, turn around, and then just book it out of there. I think I can manage that. And if I don't, then I die and I lose the souls anyway. Lots of things are dying right now, my goodness. And then we can say fuck it. Oh! I thought I was gonna fall with him. It's fine. We're fine. Everything is fine. Be smart. Be smart about getting on this thing. Don't take unnecessary risks right now. Also, if I can actually make it onto... Not you. Not you. I'm like leaning. Stop. Stop. Fuck it, we're gonna try. I'm gonna try. Come here. Quaylog. Look, I'm not gonna bother you, babe, alright? Gaping Dragon's another one that we've skipped. No! Yeah, we don't like Fork Guy. We don't like Smush Boys either. Contemplating, thinking, processing. My assumption is yes. I don't know that he can or does, but I'm going to assume the worst and say that yes, he will buff Quaylog, which is not great. Because I would much rather prepare for the awfulness that would be a buffed Quaylog. Which, hey, we all know I've got a type, and it's buff ladies, buff femme presenting folk. So, you know, this game really is coming for me right now. Get it? Cause buff is a double entendre. Or, well, it's not really an entendre, but could mean two different things in this situation, and it's funny. Don't lightning me. Don't lightning me. I thought my controller wasn't working for a second. Queue up Giant Woman immediately. Thank you. Thank you, Allie. How's it going, friend? How are you doing? What can I say? I love me a giant woman. I love me a monster. Get me a giant monster woman. And it's great. This is why I was so in love with, Lady Dimitrescu. Congrats! This is good. This is very good. Specifically having the energy aspect, but also being productive. Proud of ya. Sorry. I'm still trying to, like, figure out the best way to handle this very bad situation. Nothing's really coming to me. It's just all bad. I'm just waiting for the day that our friend here, like, absolutely betrays us. And I'm not looking forward to that day, you know? But I think we're cool as long as I don't attack him. But it's gonna happen one of these days. I'll get too comfortable in our friendship. I can't even say it's a friendship. It's just a mutual agreement of you don't fuck with me and I don't fuck with you. But I'm gonna get comfortable with this agreement that we have. And because it's not been a verbal agreement, I'm gonna fuck up somehow. And then he's gonna be like, time to do a murder, I guess. And it's just gonna be tragic, really. No, you're not supposed to be over here. Hey, have you considered falling, Mr. Gargoyle? I think he did. I think he considered falling. No, he definitely did not. Well, that's gonna complicate things. I think he's stuck. I think he's stuck. He is determined, though. He really wants me dead. Big old yikes, buddy. Look, again, I have it set. I have this, the percentage, the chance that we will get a boss as a normal enemy, and that includes mini bosses. Very, very small. It's a very small, like, chance. And yet, here we are. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. Okay, it's fine. Everything's fine. It's all fine. We got a dragon scale from the bird lady. Fantastic. We would get stuck here. Just saying, we would get oh, there's a little mushroom boy over there. He might be dead. 1% is still a large amount of enemies. I mean, that's true. You're right. You're right. I just am surprised, I guess, is all. We're just a little shocked. You see? Fizz, hi! How's it going, friend? How are things? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's very... Smiley, I love your emotes. They're all very good. They're all very good. I wish the worms would pop out of Pinwheel could be bosses. Or tiny curse frogs, not the curse frogs. Not the curse frogs. This isn't even like a vanilla Souls game either, though. We've done it bad and we've put in a randomizer. Which makes it super fun all of the time. 100% understand that they are not for everybody. But like this right here? Sarah, thank you for the gift sub. But like this lady right here, this big giant spider lady, that's a boss. She shouldn't be here. And yet she is. Come here. Snake Man! I don't want to get close to Quaylog! Come here! Okay, it's fine. No! Stop! Stop! Stop with your stupid forks! My guy! Okay. It's fine. It's all fine. Now we're in quite a predicament here. And that no matter where I go, it's gonna be a bad time. I think Quaylog is just going to ignore us until we like either get extremely close or I mean in a non-combative situation, I would love to get close to Quaylog, alright? Look at that. Look at that. Look at that! What is there not to love about that? However, She's honestly not even the scariest part of this situation. It's Clam Man over there that's a problem. Oh, I'm standing in poison. Clam Man. See him right there. And then Pinwheel full of worms. Is the bonfire over here though? This is the thing. I'm scared. I have 34,000 souls. It is okay. Not the Trojan Pinwheel. Go, go. Ah! Yes! Oh, I'm on the wrong side. No! 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 Bone Wheel, no! Stop! No! This is a bad situation! Oh, don't fall in the hole. Because there are usually rats in there? Maybe he'll forget about me. I remember the hole being bad for some reason. Fucking hell. Okay, Bone Wheel has not forgotten that I exist. Travis, why don't I trust you? I have a skirt. The enemies? The enemies could forget about me. That's fine. Look, I know I've got a large personality, and I know I'm pretty dang unforgettable. However, if these boys could forget that I exist, it would just be mwah, mwah, it'd be perfect. They did, and it's fine now. Everything is okay. That was horrifying, and I would like to never have to go through that situation ever again. Boy, howdy, do I hate Blighttown. God, what else should I be doing? Resist might be nice. Back into endurance, okay. I'm just dumping sats everywhere. No, I did it! I did it! Can't stop me! I did it! I put a point or two in resistance. It brought up my resistance to poison. It just makes me feel better, okay? Even if it doesn't actually end up doing anything, it makes me feel better. And that's all that matters. That's all that matters. I did it. I did it. Alright. Everything is bad. Nothing is good. Bone Wheel. Hey, bud. Good. Good, I'm glad. I'm glad you're gamer raging. Enjoy that gamer rage. Oh no. Bad clam. Good. Do it. Oh my god, did I tell y'all I got my first, like, hate comment on a YouTube video? On one of the ones that I uploaded the other day, and it was just very funny at how, like, bad and uncreative it was. It was, oh no, another blue-haired lefty commie or something like that, and I'm just like, yeah? Yeah. And? Don't kick the clam. Don't kick the clam, Waluigi. I've made it! Guys, it's official. I have made it. It's just sad. It's really sad. The things that people will try and, like, pick apart. It's like, look, of all the things that you can call me, it's like, I mean, those are kind of vaguely accurate. You described that I have blue hair. Yes, you're correct. I mean, at the time I did. And yeah, I've got left. Why do they keep coming back? Got left-leaning politics. Ooh, scary. Also, you're just saying commie because it's a buzzword. Don't hit me, my guy. Right? One of the YouTube nerds decided that I exist. Therefore, I'm going places, guys. Once I get big, once I make it, I'll make sure to remember y'all exist. No, it was very funny to me. Right? No, I was just gonna, like, disregard it or whatever. But it got, like, deleted before I could even do anything about it. And I was just like, okay. Alright. Have fun with that, friend. I'm poisoned. No! This is not fantastic. Also, why did the clam keep coming back? Well, I'm pretty sure they deleted their comment, honestly, because, yeah, no, 100% YouTube is not on top of that shit. Like, I am constantly having to delete, like, bot comments all of the time. I doubt that YouTube would be on top of, like, somebody being, like, you know, just mean for no reason. That's not the YouTube I know. I've died. That's okay. This was an endless hell loop anyway. But yeah, I wanted to share a silly comment that I got on YouTube, and I thought was very funny. Okay, I don't want to deal with you. You're just a big boy who likes to do a smush. I'm gonna get smushed. I'm gonna get smushed. Yeah. Calling someone a commie is a bridge too far for YouTube. Is it though? Is it though? Yeah, I don't know if it was if YouTube's algorithm caught it and deleted it, or if the commenter deleted it, but it was just very, like, silly. It's like, okay, yeah. Sure, bud. Stop. Can you not, mister, with your silly magic? No, my pointy stick is faster and better than your pointy stick. Where do we go from here? Can you get up here? I don't think he can, which means that this might be a great— oh, hey, bud. Not entirely sure why I sometimes get stuck on things. Cool, so he can reach me there. Wow, everything has found me. Oh! Yeah, this is a bit of a problem. This is dangerous! Hit me. I am the blue-haired commie. If I ever have to rebrand the channel, that's what I'm gonna call myself. Can we— No, I think Quayla— parts of her are wiggling. Ah! You were not supposed to get up here! Oh! Oh, this is bad! This is not great! I have been found! Eee! Oh! Oh no! Oh no! Well, that could have gone a little better. I don't like that move. We're not a fan of that move. Please, clam. Clam man. Clam man. This is all extremely unfortunate. Dodged at the wrong time. I'm glad that I can help fulfill the good Kayshurrr quota with these dang games. Sometimes you just gotta emote. Be like, aw, dang! Look, bud, if you could not. If we could stop? Maybe. If we just, like, didn't do the thing that you're trying to do, that would be cool. I would actually really love if we didn't do the thing that you're doing. Yeah, I'm poisoned. I know. Game, I know. I'm aware. But it's okay? But it's okay. There is a bad clam man. That is a big boy. Fucking hell. What is that? Now, hey, do you want to come here? 'Cause if I can get you in here, that would be cool. It's a great place for Silver Knights, right? Okay, no, this is bad. This is the situation I was trying to avoid. Buddy, I am dodging. Yikes. No! Eee! Why? Why? This is a problem. I think I took the longer route. I think I took the route where Crystal Boy is to get over there, and that's how we avoided that bad spell person. Stop. 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 Ah! Well, that didn't help any. Okay, those souls are lost to me. Dead Asylum. Key. Got another key. Okay, that's the secret. We just gotta go a slightly longer route. And then it's fine. And he can't make it in here. And they lose interest in me. I am gonna eat this. No, no. I said you lost interest in me. Maybe we don't fight Pinwheel. Maybe we just say, hey, have a great day, y'all. And we go past. Look at that. Isn't there, again... No, again, I keep thinking that there's like a secret path over here, but it's on the other side of this. Where Sissy is. Oh, this is gonna be interesting. Oh, this is gonna be fun. What is that? What is that? What is that? Who's that Souls boss? Is it, or is it a boss trying to take the shape of Quelaag? Oh, fuck no! No, no, no! It's my other all-time favorite boss. This is not gonna go well. This isn't gonna go great. Oh, shit. No! Please, buddy! Hey, friend? Hey, guy? How do I leave? How do we leave? I just got back. That's not Quelaag. Hey, that's not Quelaag. Hey, y'all! That's not Quelaag! Oh. Boy, is this gonna be great. That's Quelaag, though. Hey, y'all. 70% sure that's not Quelaag. Blob Boy is just standing here. I'm gonna kill him while he just stands here. He's not coming up the ladder, is he? He can't do that! Okay. Oh, so yeah, the way I came in, that's a good way to leave. So I hear. I'm not set on it. I'm not entirely sure, but, you know, oh, fuck you. Game, 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 hey game, hey game. Hey, game. Whale. Whale. Okay, no, we're just gonna... Stop! Stop hurting me! Oh hey, Blob Boy's gone! Oh, look, my souls are here. I was definitely not expecting them to be here. So that was nice. That was a nice little surprise. Hey, you think? You think we can get into the sewers? Coming through the back route? You think we can, like... Oh, stop! Stop! I'm not there anymore! No, bird, no, bird, look. Hey, bird. Look. Look, bird. Bird. I don't know where I'm going. A lot of things just died. That's extremely unfortunate for them, but pretty alright for me. Like, I'm not gonna be upset about that. I'm also just trying to consider if there's a way for me to, like, continue through Blight Town without continuing through Blight Town, you know? You dig? You see what I'm trying to say, do, accomplish? Because I really don't want to have to go back through the Darkroot Basin, but I will. I will go through Darkroot Basin if I have to. I just would like not to. Look, bad Manta Frog. You gotta go, buddy. It might be worth going through the Darkroot Basin though, so we can go hang out with Andre again because I got stuff. I got stuff for Andre. Hey, do you want to like change who you're focusing on? Hey, bud. Hey. Hey, friend. I just wanna say I really appreciate you being, like, really cool this entire time. Like, this place fucking sucks, and I'm sorry that you're stuck just standing here and stuff, but, like, man, I appreciate the fact that you haven't made my life any more difficult than you have, in this very bad experience that we've had here in Blight Town. Keep up the good work, buddy. I hope you stay well. Send my love and my regards to your family, and I'll just be on my way, bud. Have a good one. I love you. Good guy. Good guy. We could go into the Bad Castle. Bad Castle is an option. We did get the other key for the Undead Asylum, so we could always go back there, but that requires so much backtracking. We've got 15 minutes until the end of stream. Holy shit, we have accomplished a ton today. Like, a ton. Like, we got Nito to... We could try and do Gargoyle. Do you think we can get to Gargoyle in 15 minutes? I hope a second random boss jumps in. No, it probably will though. Real talk, it probably will though, because it's gotta have like... I don't like that. I'm still holding my breath that hopefully the Capra Demon just summons in as a worm and like a couple of hollows or something. Because that'd just be very funny to me. Don't want to do the fortress just yet. Don't want to do that. I mean, I'd still 100% die to Worm. Like, I mean, that's a given, but it would still just be extremely funny to me. Because... just because it would be very good. Look. Look, I know better than anyone how strong Worm is. God, do I know. It's true. Room with the lads. Definitely the most difficult part right now. Yeah, that's fine. What is... I didn't look. 67? Can I afford to wear pants now? Can I afford to wear pants that are good, though? I can. Guys, I'm almost wearing a whole outfit. How wild is that? I've got pants and a shirt and some gloves on. We get fast pants. I know! No, that's what I'm saying! Only 15 more pounds. I'm excited that I don't have to be fully naked anymore. There is no more threat of a Waluigi butthole making an appearance. 'Cause I got some fucking pants slapped onto these cakes. These buns are covered. No more butthole. Camera, stop. Camera keeps trying to, like, whip around. Stop! Camera! Hey, look. I can dodge fast now, but I am still bad at it. Look at us go! Alright, that wasn't nearly as bad as I was expecting it to be. I guess I figured Crystal Boy would come back, but I guess he doesn't? Which is fine. It's fine that he doesn't come back. Maybe we'll deal with Blighttown as soon as we open up this shortcut. Excuse me. Yeah, no, you can have it, Andre. It's fine. It's for you. Yeah, take it. I have 2 great axes. Two of them. Let's go ahead and make our spear better. 'Cause, like, why not, right? I got the achievement lightning weapon. Hell yeah. I haven't used this yet, but I'll go ahead and start upgrading it. Wait, have I... Is it fully upgraded? That means my spear's maxed out! That means my spear's maxed out! Well, dang! Well, dang! I don't necessarily want to do any of that.
Don't get yourself killed, neither of them.
Well, dang! We'll check it out eventually. I like our little pokey stick here. Let's... I can't use this. That's so slow! What are the stats that I need for that? I'll check in a second. Hold on. Yeah, we're bad! You forget that we are bad. Reminder, we're not good. Where is it? 32 strength! And 18 dex. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. That's not gonna happen anytime soon. I like our pokey stick. So let's stick with the pokey stick. Let's go say hi to our Onion Knight friend, because I love him. Polonia.
Forgive me. I am Siegmeyer of Katarina.
Siegmeyer?
I've run flat up against a wall, or a gate, I should say. No matter how. So
No, I know.
weighing my
I love him. Love. Okay, we've got a little bit of time. We got a little bit of time. We can start making our way through all of the bad boys. We have leveled up quite a bit since starting. So, like, there's still gonna be a lot of them, and that in and of itself is a problem, but, like, I think we can do this. I think we got this. Not even an issue. Okay, they have noticed me. Soul Loss and the Uchigatana. I think they are making their way. You know what? Let's go down first. Look at that. And now we're back. It's all come back. Hey, bud.
Oh my. Oh, I have to await my companion. So what if I were to teach? Would that?
I mean, sure.
Very well.
I do want to know what he's got.
That is a shame. Speak.
Oh, he wants me to abandon my covenant. I didn't even realize I had a covenant? Oh well. He does. It's true. You right. Can we... Do you have anything to say?
Well, what? Let me get. But there's no.
Oh, bud, I've been here forever. Just... Dude. My guy. My friend? Hey, buddy. Oh! This is fine. Camera just likes to freak out a ton. Right? He has forgotten what faces are. It's fine. We all get it. You see so many terrible jerky people come through and it's all the same. It's all the same, you know? I mean, I definitely don't want to be here, but... Beautiful! Love it! What great items we have. Yeah, no, 100%. Nope, harm in taking a quick peek. Huh! Look, at the very least... Oh! Look at him! Him. Yum. They just stand. We love us a good mushy boy. Aww. Oh. He is very weak to lightning. Why is that rat white? Why are you white? No! Also, tall. He long. Probably. But like these enemies are just the ones that like stand here and cry, aren't they? He's so round! Hello, Lamia. Hey, Phalanx? I don't think you're supposed to just... That's... You've faced the wrong way, buddy. I'm starting to pick up some miracles, which is interesting. Alright, that's about as far as I want to go for now. Oh! Hi! What? I'm almost done. And then I can give you some treaties. And I can pet you. Yeah? Soul Taker, thank you for the follow! Welcome in. It's locked. Do I need a key for that then? Because it wouldn't open from the other side. Huh. Weird. What? The little beeps. Lamia. Hi. Lamia demands attention now. Let me get back to the Firelink Shrine, okay? Okay. And then, we'll call it here and pick it up tomorrow? Maybe defeat the gargoyles. Yeah? Or what might be the gargoyles. Who knows what we're gonna get. We've already seen a ton of gargoyles, honestly. So hey, bud. Oh. Yeah, okay. I know I don't need to be up here, but we're gonna be up here, right? And with that, we're gonna call it. Hold on, I'm gonna like actually quit out of the game. Quit. We did a lot more than I thought we would, which is very exciting. We got through what, like 2 bosses? Actual boss areas? And have found many other bosses out where they're not supposed to be, and gotten through a couple of areas, and that's really, really cool. I am still loving this randomizer. Honestly. I find that it's, not that I, like, often got, like, ridiculously frustrated with Dark Souls, but I find that I get, like, even when I die repeatedly over and over again, the entire situation is just so fucking ridiculous that it's not even, like, aggravating, it's just weird. And you gotta laugh at the absurdity of it all, right? Fucking wild stuff. Anyway, let's see who we got online. Let's set up a raid. I'm gonna get those messages out now. Because I still can't type when I'm actually doing a raid, and that's dumb. But whatever. Ooh, hiccups. I only have one person online right now. It's Sinnoh Beats doing some Final Fantasy Online. Let's see who's doing some Dark Souls. There are no LGBTQ folk doing Dark Souls right now. Unfortunate. Does anybody have any suggestions, recommendations for people we should check out? I'm always here to meet new friends. I'm still gonna kind of poke around, see what we got. Otherwise, we can go say hi to Sinnoh. We like him. We like Sinnoh. You do? They aren't showing up for me. Can we recommend one of them to me? Because I wasn't seeing anyone, which is dumb. And I don't like it. Don't like it when it doesn't show me stuff. Doop. Ah, there we go. Okay. Cozy Sweater Gamer, and you love their username? That is a very good username. Let's go check him out. Cozy Sweater Gamer. Let's go! All right. Well, let's get that raid set up and ready to go. As per usual, friends, thank you for being here. Y'all are great, and I'm really enjoying the series, and I hope that everyone else is as well. Yeah. We'll be back with more of it tomorrow. But until then, take care of yourselves. I don't know. Just keep being awesome, wonderful, lovely, beautiful folk that you are. But yeah, we'll see y'all later. Bye!